Are we good?
Take one.
Take one. Shee. Hello, good people. My name is Ezra Hapner, number 25,000. I'm from Santa Cruz, California. I'm 19 years old and I represent Team DGA. We're looking at my bag today. Starting with the putters. This is my favorite mold that I carry, so I'm glad we're starting with it. It is the Steady BL, beadless. The BL stands for beadless. I carry 4 of them, any given time, 3 different plastics. We'll start with the D-line. So D-line is DGA's baseline plastic. This is my flippy old one. I used to putt with this one. Now I use it for like long putts, jump putts, but mostly little approaches. It's so flippy at this point that I can just put minimal effort on a little hyzer and it just pops up, goes straight. I'll flick it with a lot of hyzer and it kind of acts like an ultimate disc. It's just my all-around, all-purpose disc. I also throw it off the tee a lot if I want something to drift right. It's pretty much my only understable disc, or one of the only ones I have, so I love this thing. Next is my putting putter. Same thing, but newer. I like it more overstable. When I'm putting, I'm rocking a little First Flight one right now. And then I got 2 more. This is the swirly, what do they call it? The Flex Swirl Pro Line. These are very overstable actually, surprisingly, for just like a round putter. And this is my off the tee putter. I throw this a lot. De La is my home course. Often I just go out there with mids and putters and I'm throwing this off the tee on a majority of the holes. I could probably get it 350 max, but comfortably I'm throwing it like 300, 315. And I can put a little ante on it and it'll flex out, or just throw it flat and it goes straight and it's glidey. And then this is its counterpart, the Ice Steady BL. I throw it off the tee here and there, but it's mostly my approach overstable steady. It has a lot less glide than the Pro Line one. If I want something to drop off the tee, I might be throwing in. It actually gets a good amount of skip because it's such a hard plastic, but it's mostly my approach one. This is my other putter I keep in the bag. This is the SP Flex Breaker, flexi plastic, very durable. And this is the most overstable run of the breaker. Definitely a fan favorite. I use this mostly for little flick approaches. My favorite shot, honestly, is like a little ante, and it just goes and flattens out and goes very straight, and I hit a lot of lines with that. Here and there, I'll throw a backhand, maybe big spike hyzers or something, but in general, it's my sidearm putter. Into the mids, this is a Pro Line Aftershock. Throwing it 300 to 375, like that's the range I'm going to the Aftershock with, and out of the box, they're just dead straight. After, a few months, I'm putting a little bit of hyzer and they just pop up straight. If I'm throwing it flat, it'll drift right a little bit, but I love the Aftershock, very trustworthy. We have the Quake, another fan favorite. Very overstable mid-range, especially this run, they're very flat. I'm throwing this mostly sidearm. I throw it back in here and there, if I want it to like really get left or go big spike with the mid-range, but again, this is like what I lean on for sidearms. The Squall is mid-range, but it's a 6-speed, so it's kind of in that hybrid place between mids and fairways. I think it's like one of the most unique discs out there. Everyone should throw a Squall, just because you can get the distance and speed that you do out of a fairway, but it feels like a mid and it looks like a mid. Max, I'm probably getting these 400, but comfortably 375, 350. I carry 2. This is Matt Bell Tour Series 1 from 2019, I think. And this is a little bit flippier, so I'm kind of throwing in on that, and it's popping up straight or flat and it's turning over. This is my newer one. I like to have a more stable one and a more understable one, and so this one, we're actually out at CSUMB right now. So it's fitting. This is a Glow Squall. The Glow Squalls tend to run a little more stable. And in the fairways, this is the Pipeline, which is an excellent disc. For me, this is a very flippy fairway. I mostly am throwing it if I need a specific shape, like I need it to turn right quickly, or I need to go less power in the woods to flip up. Okay, next is the bonsai. The bonsai is kind of your classic straight to overstable fairway. I carry two of them. First is this SP. It's not SP flex, but it has a little bit of flex, and this run was pretty straight. So this is my just kind of dead straight fairway. I don't find myself leaning on it a ton just because I was saying I like my squalls. It's a really good disc. I should probably lean on it more, but I just don't throw it a lot, so it's not in my routine. But this is the other bonsai, a little more overstable. This is the glow plastic. And I actually throw this a lot for little touchy flicks, probably like 250 to 300. Past 300, a little too much torque, it turns over. But under 300 and I can put minimal effort and it just kind of pops up, goes straight, finishes. And then backhand, it's probably getting to 400, maybe a little over, and dead straight, and then finishes at the end. Next, kind of not quite a fairway, not quite a distance driver, is the Hellfire. This run is super flat, just pancake flat. SP plastic, got the cool kind of Go stamp in there. And this is just a very overstable disc. This is kind of my main sidearm disc. I'm anywhere 250 to 350. I'm throwing it, and it's just very reliable and overstable. It's also very durable. Like, I hit a lot of trees with it, and it's managed to withstand its stability. I've only thrown 2 of them in like 3 years, so I'm throwing it tomahawks, I'm throwing it thumbers. If I ever lay down the sidearm roller, which is pretty rare, this is the disc. It's just a good, overstable utility disc. This is my favorite distance driver. It's the Hurricane. I carry 2 right now. This is my buttery one. I believe it's the SP Flex plastic. And I think this run was like the Estonian edition for Christo Reich. It has bigger sparkles, it's cool. It looks nice. It's also got that ghost stamp. But these are like not as stable as older SP Flex runs, which are, if you've thrown the old SP Flex Hurricanes, they're one of the most overstable discs I've ever thrown. So this is not that, but it's still overstable for a Hurricane. I just feel very confident hitting gaps with this. It's not my furthest flying distance driver, but I think my most reliable one. Next is the Proline Flex Hurricane. This thing is a little less stable out of the box, but it goes further than the green one. Yeah, it just feels good. It's also flexy. It's a little more stiff on the rim than SP Flex discs are. I'm mostly throwing this if I want a little extra distance and I'm more in the open where I have a little more room to work with, or maybe I'm going on a hyzer and I want it to carry further on the hyzer without just dumping. I'm going to this. Yeah, it's just a good complement to the more straight workhorse that I have. All right, this disc is the Hypercane. Relatively new this year. I love this disc. Right away, it became a go-to. It's basically like the Hurricane OS. The Hypercane is that, but without the -1 turn, and it's also a 13 speed. So it's just faster and beefier, but it's not like ridiculously wide rimmed, which I don't love for backhand. So that's nice because it feels the same as a Hurricane. It just has a lower, like, little piece down here. And it is noticeably faster. And so I'm mostly throwing it sidearms just because I can trust it. I can throw it like a baseball if I give it enough height and it's coming out. I can throw low with Annie and it can hit the ground on this angle and still flare out. Going flat with less power, it might get 90-degree kind of skip, you know. It's very overstable. Headwinds, I can throw it backhand flat and it acts just like my Hurricanes. I love the speed, but the smaller rim and overstability. I know what it's doing. Last disc. This is the Torrent. I carry 2 of them. I think the Torrent's a super underrated, fast 14-speed disc. Not a lot of people know about it, but it's a great disc. The Proline ones are generally flatter and more overstable. And so this is like my distance sidearm disc, aside from the Hypercane. I mean, basically this is a little flippier. I think it's a -1 too. So I can like put it on a slight hyzer with more snap than arm, and it's just gonna pop up and go straight, maybe turn a little, and I'm definitely getting 400. This is my most aggressive, flippy distance driver. The SP Torrent. SP Torrents in general are flippier than Proline ones. And this thing, I like, if I'm throwing full power, I'm putting it on that angle and it's flipping up, turning over, and coming all the way out. So it can be dangerous at times. If I get a little excited, I throw it into the ground just because it flips. This goes further than any disc I've ever thrown. But I like trust it to do that flight in a tournament or in a round. All right, shout out De La Viega Disc Golf Club. Gotta rep it. Thanks for watching. I'm Ezra Hapner. And this was my In the Bag.